Here.
Yeah. Start it up.
Okay. Start me up. Start it up.
Is that a song?
Yeah. Don't ask me what song it is.
Oh.
It's a rock
was
song, but it was the way I remember it most is because the on Glee they did a mashup with that song and Living on a Prayer.
Oh. I was thinking there's probably a song or two that's like Turn Me On. Just not quite the same thing.
Start me up. Come on. Thank you.
Okay.
It's right this time.
What is? Everything? The pre?
preview.
Yes.
Okay. Let me
Okay.
open that up for the live chatty chatty chatty. Oh, let me finish this.
There goes that. Okay, done that. Done. Hello, Cub. I'm just gonna go ahead and relog you. I don't care.
Ooh. Oh my.
Huh?
600% vitamin B6. Ooh.
Wow. That sounds like a lot, I guess.
Guarana, B vitamins, and ginseng. No, I just finished my caffeine drink.
Oh. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, mine at least was quick because I just woke up a little bit ago.
I don't
Mine
know
was
what
like
you're
coffee.
talking about either. Oh, wait a minute. You can't even see that. I've got a monster kid in my head.
Nice.
Oh,
Well, good afternoon,
well then.
Caden Wilson.
Hi.
Is it Caden or Caden? I'm thinking it's Caden, but I
I
could be
want to
wrong.
say it's Caden. I hope it's
Probably
Caden.
There's no E in the end, so I don't think it's Cadine.
Oh God, no.
But I don't know.
Oh, that's so funny. I didn't watch it all because I just got tired of it. But there was a video on Facebook about Irish names, like spelling Irish names. And they were at a Starbucks kind of. It was a coffee shop, but they didn't call it Starbucks. But it was like Siobhan and a couple of other ones, just weird name, like weird, not weird Irish names, but classic Irish names with the odd spellings.
Okay, so I'm going to warn you, my sound sharing may quit unexpectedly.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we'll get through the first part, which really has sound cues. Otherwise, just go with it. During the end song, just
Cool.
stay quiet until it's done. I'll probably say something to let you know. So
Good morning.
Guten Morgen. It's good afternoon now. At
All
least
right,
here
so
in Eastern Central. Half the
Oh,
U.S. is
actually,
in the afternoon.
Actually, afternoon.
Green cap. I'll put that about there.
Actually, because as part of sharing sound, I share screen. You can probably actually see when the sound clip is playing, so that would be another cue for you. Should there be an audio sharing issue?
Okay. That's a good question, Kaden. I think we'll answer that during the show today.
Will?
Sure, why not? It's a little bit of a free-form potluck day.
Maybe that's what we should have called it.
Oh.
What?
Well, it just gives me an idea
Okay.
for the future. Okay.
Are we ready?
Are
we ready?
Yes. Sorry.
Are we
Yes.
ready for some podcasting?
No. No. Yes, I'm ready, and no to the whatever the hell that shit is.
Air horn?
Yes, siren crap. Anyways,
Air horn. It's called an air horn.
it's too early on a Sunday.
As we're all drinking energy drinks to stay awake for the.
No, you
Yeah.
guys are the only one that had energy drinks. I have a can, a Monster can, but there is nothing in it. Not because I drank it earlier today, because I haven't put it into my recycling bin.
Okay.
So all I've had is just some of my iced tea. I even forgot to make coffee this week.
Okay.
You don't believe me, do you?
I believe you just fine.
Damn.
You say that in the shadiest, most sarcastic way possible. When in fact I am actually telling the truth.
It's okay.
See, I've got 2 Monster cans.
That's a very pretty penis. Okay.
And back to penis.
Hey, if you gotta send me a random pic, like unsolicited on Growler, at least send me a good one, because that'll get my response.
All right.
Make a note of that.
Let's do a show. Before we get way too out of hand.
Too late.
Let's do a show.
Sure.
I said too out of hand. Oh, wait a minute. I just thought of something.
Uh-oh.
I need
Hold on. Damon's running away. Something happened. I don't know.
I'm actually going to see what happens when I do this. This might actually make things cooler.
You'll open a portal to hell? I don't know.
No, but because of my other layout, instead of using the whole like the landscape logo version, I'm using the square logo version or square version for the show title thing for the actual like thing. I wonder which what the center is right here.
Oh, I see what he's doing, sort of, because it's like a thumbnail in mine, but yeah.
Okay. It's not working the way I wanted to. Oh well.
He's futzing, he's playing.
There. That looks better. Okay. Let's do a show. Ready? Hold on. Okay. Sound should be fine. Just want to get it down.
I need a beauty blender. Anyways.
And 3, 2. It's Sunday, August, what month is it? 19th, 2018. I'm Jeff.
Who's your bear? That's right. I am your bear.
I'm Damon.
I don't brew the tea, I just serve it.
And that makes me Gary.
Don't hurt nobody with your bad self.
Welcome to Comes Out Loud, the Bear Podcast of Adventure Length, episode number 476. And like the new layout, I've got a Damon over here to my left, and below us in his own half of the screen, we've got Gary.
Okay, first of all, you put me in the right place being a bottom. However,
2
you
tops
bitches...
and a bottom.
Hold up. Well, I think it's more like top dominant subverse up above me. But
wow.
He's got a point.
Wow.
He does have a point.
Oh, I just realized. Oh, but we're always in landscape. I was just thinking how funny it would be if we could get like 9 of us together and do like
And do a
Brady
spectrum.
Bunch.
Sorry.
Oh my god. Just like just looking at like random parts of the screen.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do that for the birthday.
But we would have to do it on Skype though.
Ooh.
Oh well, yeah. Anyways,
Because here's the advantage of the new Skype. So I'm actually giving some positives to the new Skype. The advantage of the new Skype is I have control of where all you bitches are. Instead of like taking one big shot of everybody, and then it kind of like sometimes randomly selecting who goes where on the thing. Now I can move you around.
If we're here and on time.
Yeah, something like that. Hey, we were pretty much on time today, so it was a good thing. Anyways, let's find out what's going on. So, yeah, Monday, Battle for Azeroth launched, and I already have 2 120s. One Alliance side, one Horde side. Now it's trying to figure out, okay, do I want to level up more tunes? Which is kind of my end goal for the expansion, but, you know, that's an expansion-wide thing. So I got time for that. Or try to focus on getting Pathfinder, so when I'm leveling those tunes, they move a little faster and things go a little bit quicker. So I'm thinking, and right now is where do I complete Pathfinder? Do I do it on my Alliance tune, or do I do it on my Horde tune? Because once you get to a certain point, it's about, I can't split the work because one of the achievements on it is to explore all the new zones, the 6 new zones, and because they're 2 different faction sides and they're doing storylines, I've been exploring all the Horde zones on my Horde team and the Alliance teams on my Alliance team. So those all go towards this one achievement, so I could split that. But now we're getting to a point where I can't, because it says do 100 world quests. Well, I can't do 150 on one and 50 on another. I have to do it all in one. So, and then there's reputations, which is kind of the same thing. So, for all intents and purposes, I have to figure out, am I going to main Horde or am I going to main Alliance? Which is kind of tricky. So, That's it. Oh, by the way, I also finished the Pokédexes for Sun, Pokemon Sun, and Pokemon Ultramoon. Completed both of them. And now I'm in Pokemon X, working on getting through the storyline so I can start working on the Pokédex so I can complete that one. So I'm busy during my downtime here. Until my job actually starts. Whoop. Anyways, that's me.
Cool.
Damon, how about you?
Well, speaking of work, good news on the work front. We finally have a assistant, which will hopefully mean a good amount of work taken off of my desk just to kind of help things out, which will be great because I need it. I'm actually literally looking at my work laptop right now, and I know that I have a shit ton of work to get done. I don't know if I'll do it today, but we'll see. One of the benefits of now my new job changing is I can work whenever the fuck I want to. I just don't get paid overtime. So
I suppose
there's
that could
that.
be beneficial.
It's beneficial only in that, hey, I could take my laptop home, and if I want to log in a couple of hours before going to bed, I can. Like today, my idea was to, after done with the podcast, jump on the laptop for a couple of hours and then go into work on Monday and work 8 hours. The downside is obviously it's overtime, but it's not really overtime. That kind of thing. Anyway, so work is work. That's that thing. And then yesterday, the leather group I belong to, Scorpius, had our monthly meeting. We had a couple of guests, including a gentleman who was a part of the original incarnation of the leather group, who was looking to come back. So yay for that. And a wonderful woman by the name of Mistress Nia, who has been a long-term member of Kink Leather for many years, and is just now, realizing that there's some aspects of it that she wants to know more about. So, yay for that. It was a great meeting. We had a very intense conversation with her about topics that were, really kind of, touchy for some people, and it was kind of a cool thing to kind of get a perspective that I think some of us have never really thought about. I won't go into detail because that would be literally a long ass conversation, but it was a good time, and I'm glad we had the opportunity. And I think several members of the group left the meeting with a new perspective. So good for that. Yeah. And this morning, Jim made blueberry madness waffles. They were waffles with blueberries in them. And then we had blueberry syrup, and we also had macerated blueberries to put on top. So it was a blueberry bonanza, and they were amazing and yummy. And I ate a whole bunch, and I'm happy belly right now.
Yay.
Yeah. Gary?
Yay for blueberries. They're good for your brain power. So if you do decide to do some work today,
Aha.
and they mix in the caffeine, you're on fire today. So
Woo! Yeah.
I want to make some blueberry muffins now.
Oh, that sounds good.
maybe I'll have a blueberry smoothie later today.
It'll just be like I said, a blueberry bonanza.
Today's trending topic is blueberries. Anyways, so the next chapter went to the Erie County HIV Task Force meeting on Thursday. I think I had mentioned before that there was a posting. It came down as of Friday, and it was for working with the Department of Health, and I was kind of excited about it. A birdie that I'm acquainted with through the task force let me know that there were 3 internal candidates for the position, and because I'm not working already for the county, I would be
Lower on the list.
understandably lower on the list. So I made the decision to not apply because, well, there was a question about requirements. Like, one of the interesting things on the forms that you fill out, which is the first time I've seen it on any job anywhere, is you can submit your resume and stuff, and of course you have to retype and enter all that stuff. Then you had another form, and you had to line by line list every requirement that was listed on the job posting on one column, and then on the column on the right you had to list how you matched that. So you had to line by line explain how you had that requirement fulfilled. And because I don't have necessarily the medical background or the public health background, I was like, I already knew that was a little bit of a challenge, and I could have filled it out to the best of my ability. But then, and at the task force meeting, I met one of the 3 internal candidates that's interested in the job, and I kind of have the feeling I know that this person's going to end up getting it ultimately, because they showed up at the task force meeting to get a feel for things, and I was like, okay, I think this is kind of a sign. So I was like, all right, well, then let's put our nose to the grindstone and look for some other stuff. So I ended up applying for like 5 different things. Both of them with hospitals in the medical field, interestingly. But one's with one company and the other 4... No, sorry. One's with an insurance company and the other 4 were with a hospital. But anyway, but I'm looking at moving into the next chapter of whatever that is and hopefully finding something soon. And we'll see how stuff goes.
Hey, it would be nice when we're all employed again.
Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And speaking of which, since there's 2 of us that are still technically unemployed, we would like to talk to you about a couple things, such as our Patreon at patreon.com/cubsoutloud, where you can join us. We have a survey for some of our rewards for the current members going out. Obviously, you can't see it if you're not a patron. So if you're a patron, please check on that poll, just because we want to send you what you want. So we got some more rewards going there. Those rewards start at the buddy level, so as long as it's $2 and up, and you can get those initial ones, and we're working on some of the other ones. So logistics. Also, if you don't feel like you can subscribe to Patreon, but you want some great merchandise, pop over to zazzle.com/cubsoutloud, where we've got stuff from Smashy, such as our Consent 4-plate. One we haven't talked about in a while, the Sloppy Bottom 23 shirt. We have Bear Run Definition products, and as well as stuff with our logo on it. By the way, this soup bowl is amazing. I love it. It's my favorite soup bowl, by the way. But we got plenty of things. We've got Drag Race stuff too, if you are a fan of the COL Drag Race show, which is currently on hiatus until the next show. But we got a whole bunch of stuff here, so check it out. Always look for new stuff coming on there. If you see anything on Zazzle that you would like us to pop our logo on or make something of, please let us know, and we will see what we can do. And with that, I'm gonna pop over to here, and it's time for this. Gary, what's been going on over in the Facebooks?
Okay, so before we get into the Facebook, I just want to recognize that in the live chat, apparently while you were doing like the whole scrolly thing through the websites, our live audience was intrigued by the fact that Damon and our heads were like right next to each other. So they were expecting like a makeout session or something. So yeah, anyways.
It's hard to do as I was looking at the camera and I'm like realizing that it's a mirror also. So it's like I was looking this way.
Trying to look the right way.
Looking the right way. And I realized, like, no, I'm not looking the right way. I'm looking the opposite way, and I need to go look this way. But by time we're done. It's okay.
That view is one of those where it actually takes a shot of the actual Skype window instead of the other fancy schmancy way. So anyway. So Gary, what's been going on over on Facebooks?
Okay, so the reason that this is a catch-up and more part 2 is because we got a whole lot of stuff to go over. We haven't done a feedback section in quite a while because we had a couple weeks with guests and some other stuff. So first off, Facebook share. This week, going into the weekend, I did a share where I said, hey, Cubsters and COL episode 438 last October in 2017. We had a chat with Joshua Pangborn about his online video series project Skeleton Crew. Their fundraising program for season 4 ends in, and now I think it's 5 days. At the time I said 7. Would you consider donating a couple of bucks to help with their efforts? I'm sure they would appreciate it. And then Joshua liked it, shared it, tagged it, and said, thanks, Cubs Out Loud. And then I've included a link to donate a couple of bucks. They've actually achieved their goal for season 4, so I'm super excited for them. But of course, they could use every dollar that you can give them, even if it's just a handful of bucks, $2 or $3 or $5 or whatever. I'm sure they'll be able to put it to good use towards their
And
technical costs.
here's the page for you people to see it as well. It's on Indiegogo. Check it out.
Yeah, so I'm sure they actually, because they've got like 5 days left. If they actually got like $1,000 over their goal, I'm sure Joshua would probably make a mess in his undies. So, and I personally, I would like to have him on again before they get the launch of their new season. So, I know they've already begun filming, so this is probably making up for any credit/debts they pre-season taken on or whatever to get it started. So there's that. Facebook comments or posts. So COL478 was Mr. Chicago Cub. And John Baugh said, "Hey, Anita John, I just watched the whole podcast. Great interview. It should give you some more exposure as you continue as Chicago Cub. Great work. Your smile lit up the screen."
Mm-hmm.
And John replied, "Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that." So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And Arturo Feliciano just commented, like he inboxed us a direct message. He said, "Hi, I started listening to your show, really liking it so far." And then we already recognized him, I think, as a Facebook like at another time.
Yay.
So that's the Facebook stuff. Damon, I think we have one new subscriber since the last time we went over these.
Yes, we do actually. So we have a new YouTube subscriber by the name of Bear Tubbs. I don't know who that might be. No clue.
Yeah.
I think he's currently showing in the chat as Fat Daddy Tubbs.
But we don't want to get it confused because there could be more than one Tubbs out there. I mean,
it is possible. Yes, it is entirely possible.
Or it could be one of those Freaky Friday. No, not Freaky Friday. What's the one with the twins? Was it the Patty Duke
Parent
show?
Trap.
Parent Trap, yeah. Situations. Anyway,
or the Patty Duke show. Or well, they weren't. They were cousins actually.
Those were cousins. Identical cousins, and you're fine.
Yeah.
And
anyway,
so we talk alone.
So we also got a comment on COL465. No pick, no chat. This was from a Bruce Hicks, and it says, "Hey guys, love the show. I will admit that the reason I don't post my face on a profile pic is because I am discreet, or down low as some call it. I am a single bi male, but I have decided to stay in a closet with it. Parentheses, some may call me a coward, but I'm okay with that." He then goes on, "When I do talk to guys, I will give them a face pic via inbox when they ask for one. But even then, I feel uncomfortable doing that because I'm afraid someone who is openly gay will recognize me or screenshot my face. I always try to feel the person out to see what kind of vibe I get from them before sending my face pic. I tend to avoid those that like to gossip or expose others and aim for older bears because a lot of them are not really into drama and gossip. So I know with me being discreet, I don't get as many responses, and I'm okay with that because from my experience, those that are openly gay have no problem hooking up with discreet guys. Any tips for discreet guys, or do you have any stories of meeting with discreet guys? And then love your podcast. Hope to see you all at one of the bear runs this year."
Wow.
So that's quite the comment. And
that goes back almost 3 months. There's a lot to break down in there.
Just a little catch up.
Well,
Yeah.
but I will say this. So I totally get what Bruce is saying about the DL aspect and not wanting to be outed. And the fact that he considers himself a bi male but doesn't want to be seen, quote unquote, that way makes perfect sense to me. I've known a number of men, well, actually women for that matter, that are bisexual, and some are very out about it because they have no fucks to give, basically, about the fact that we are, in a way, bisexually discriminate within our own community, that we have difficulty recognizing that there are people that are bisexual and pansexual and asexual, anything that doesn't fall in the binary of sexuality, meaning, gay/lesbian or heterosexual. So, yeah, I get that part of it. I'm glad that he broke it down and basically said, this is how I do it. Like, start a conversation. If they ask for it, I'll give it, or I may give it, And I find it really insightful that he said that he tend to aim for older bears because of them. A lot of them are not really into drama and gossip, which
I think met a few of them. Sorry. Ooh, sorry. Sorry. That's just I think not this okay, let me just not retract, but just kind of say a little more. I don't mean that to be kind of catty. Well, I mean it to be catty, but not necessarily. There are some people out there, and I mean, it's the way of the land. You know, there are people in this world that no matter what their age is, no matter what their, maturity level can be sometimes, there are people in this world that just choose to be bitches and can do stupid shit. We've seen the ex-boyfriends that put videos of our videos and pictures of their exes online. We've seen guys that for whatever reason do this kind of shit where they out essentially, bisexual discrete men for the sake of no reason at all other than to do it. And it sucks, and it's a thing, and it would be great if it wasn't a thing, but it is a thing. So
right. And I will say this. I can recognize that people out people for the visibility factor. The mental state, I believe, is, well, I know that you're on the DL, but if I out you, it increases our rank and numbers, and people realize there's more of us than they think there are. Doesn't make it right, but I understand that mental concept. But it's not your place. Like, that is not like within your power. It's not your responsibility. Like, to me, it's no different than anything else. Like, I don't go running around talking about who all the Muslims are in my life, and I don't talk about who all of the Native American people are, or the pagans. I mean, none of that. Anything that a person chooses as a self-label, like, I don't really say shit about it. So I understand his hesitancy and his aspect of things. And I think it would bring a really accurate point, Damon, where he's like, that it's always a risk. Yeah. I get your joke, like you're poking fun at like all of them, but I think that's a fair point, because it's like it's not 100%, and he probably knows this most likely when he gets to listening to this episode. Sorry that it's been a couple months, Bruce. That he'll agree and say yes, that not all of a certain demographic is going to be the same way. I mean, we make stereotypes, but stereotypes come from a place of something of commonality, but notably it's not accurate across the board.
Yeah.
So then go ahead.
Well, I'm going to go like he has any tips for discreet guys, or do you have any stories for meeting up for discreet guys? I think a tip for me, if you are choosing to be discreet, then by all means, be aware that there are people in this world, gay men, whatever, other bisexual men, etc., who do not choose to interact with men who are on the down low or are discreet. And I know that sounds shitty, but that's their choice. They don't want to be in a closet. They don't want to be, and they understand the potential issues that can come up from being with someone or interacting with someone who is choosing to be down low or discreet. And they decide, I don't want to be a part of that. And you should be okay with that. Same as you making a decision about who you want to interact with.
Well, and I also think that in that case, it's also those guys who don't want to interact with you are actually being respectful for you, because it's like, okay, you don't want to come out, you don't want to do anything. I'm not a fan of that. I don't want to deal with you because, in some sense, I don't want to out you if you don't want to. If you want to be discreet, you do you. You do that. Right. And for a lot of us, it's great to test the waters and say, hey, I'm discreet. For us, people who are not so discreet, make sure you're respectful in those who do want to be. Feel free to try to encourage people to come out, because I really think that that's a vital point in your process of whether you're bi, gay, trans, whatever. There's a point where I think it's a good idea for you to come out, encourage them, but also support them in whatever they want to do. So
exactly.
you have to realize there are people there who may encourage you, but if they're pressuring you, distance them. If they're encouraging you, but they're not really putting any pressure, then they're probably really good people to be around. And so I would definitely try that whole testing the waters things is a great idea. I'm always, I want to see a picture. If I don't see a picture in anything else and you send me a picture, I'm the only one who's going to see that picture. I'm not going to really share it with anybody. So
Exactly.
I can definitely say that I'm totally fine with being discreet with people. So.
And that's one of the things, like, do you have any tips for discreet guys? It's always a risk to get involved with another person. But if you're upfront about being discreet, hopefully they understand that. I do. People have sent me lots of pics. And while I may have those pics either downloaded, or left within the device, the app or email or whatever, I recognize that they're giving me some level of trust. So personally, I find it immoral for me to turn around and just post that shit all over the place. So I also own the fact that there's an aspect of that I like, though, because there's a voyeuristic part of me. So when I'm online and I see pics that people have of other folks that they've posted, I can understand like the titillation factor of that, like seeing people that I know are not those people. But at the same time, it's like, it's really, you kind of have to pick and choose your battles, as shitty as it is. And the thing that probably really gets me riled up, so I'm going to go on a sidebar for a quick moment. I was up very late last night and I was super pissed off because there's a handful of very popular online Tumblr accounts right now, and they're doing a lot of reposting instead of reblogging. And I went to an archive for one, and within like 15 minutes, I found almost 10 people that I personally know that their photos were posted, and I just got super pissed off and fired up. And then I was like, great, now I'm not going to be able to fall asleep. Well, because all I kept thinking is like, I wanted to contact every single one of these people and be like, hey, did you know your shit's been reposted? Like, which to me is kind of parallel. It's like, if it's not authentically yours, then
you shouldn't repost it.
And then there's
not repost.
And then there's this whole factor of like, what is the statute of like time of when that can happen? Because Damien, you brought up an excellent point earlier about like exes.
Yeah.
And so I see that a lot. It's like, this is an old video of me and my ex. And so I get that they posted it because they have rights and responsibility to post it because they're part of it and they are in it. But on the flip side, I'm like, I hope you're not doing this out of a place of pettiness.
Yeah.
That you are okay with your ex. Like, you know what I mean? And vice versa.
People are petty?
Well, I'm just... Yeah, I know. And then to the second part of Bruce's thing, do you have any stories of meeting with discreet guys? All right, we're going to move on with this show because that could probably be a whole show, a couple of shows.
That's another show.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll discuss that next week or in the week or two. But discreet.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, I have a plethora of stories coming from going to college in Eastern Kentucky. And living in Kentucky in general, and like the Midwest kind of area where there's a lot of discreet / down low kind of guys. I could go on and on and on.
Blue collar rural hookup. What? Anyways.
There you go.
Nice.
So thanks for the feedback, Bruce. I think you've spawned another show in the future.
Yeah.
Put that on our topic list. Anyways, moving on into we got a new Vimeo subscriber. I hope you're enjoying the old videos. There's not going to be new ones, unfortunately. Let's do Mr. Hutchie. Something like that.
Sweet.
Over on Patreon, we've got some updates with our patrons. We have a new patron, Tubbs, is at the entourage level. And David Thompson is an Uber.
Sweet.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure that we gave them the proper shout outs and they they recognize that. Okay. Sorry, I was just reading Chuck's post in live chat, farmersonly.com. Oh my.
You will never be lonely.
So this next part, I'm assuming, is split for a section for each of us.
Yeah, we haven't commented on how many followers we have on Twitter as an update in quite a while, so I thought we'd try to run through these and each of us take a pass.
All right.
All right, I'll take the first one. We'll
Okay.
just do our regular
Cool.
round robin. All right, so we've got a ALXMZ24, Sport Understore Gay, Roy the Cub 69, the Dandy Brand, Raw BTA, Mandal Roshan, Mamb Dal Roshan, John 821, Rayfendi 5, and Hersu.
And then we also have Albert Boots 66, Brit Bears Club, Heavy Convo, Bear Rican, Shyam Sue 1289022, Dunbar YVR, David Donald 14, 64 Lever, and Look for Ida or Ida ITA.
We have Khaled 13 Chubby 161, Juan underscore 1063, 12 Hictor, Live 3307, Tino Herrera 8, Silent Hoi Poli,
Hoi Polloi.
Hoi Polloi, then Just Fun 69, Joaquin 578026665, and Jeffrey 548511619.
Just spells his name wrong. Anyway.
Oh my God.
Out of all of those, I recognize a couple. David is a friend of mine, best friend of Drew's. He sometimes goes by Cake or Cupcake, because he's been in drag as the Lady Cupcake. So yay!
Nice.
And Heavy Convo is a podcast that started up this year called Heavy Conversations with Bruce and Jody. It's two big guys talking about big guy stuff. One of them, Bruce, is the owner of Cubster, the online community, and Jody is the owner of Bearskin.
Ah.
Yeah.
So I've been listening to their podcast for a little while. It's interesting. It's a short podcast. It's usually about a half an hour. They pick one topic, they kind of dive in, and then get out on the conversation. That's why it's kind of short. But anyways, so yeah, I'm kind of excited about that. Speaking of, so Charles S., which is at GBearTrucker65, tagged Heavy Convo and said, just subscribe to your podcast after hearing it mentioned on Cubs Out Loud episode 471. Woo! So spreading the love around for all that.
Referencing. Great.
Sweet. Yay.
So, next up, Gary.
I think that's all the
That's
on
feedback.
feedback stuff.
We caught up.
It's been a lot, and we appreciate all of the feedback that we receive. So by all means, thank you all for listening and providing us with that feedback. We actually do listen, and we do use it in some capacities, in some ways. So by all means, keep giving us that feedback. And speaking of that,
Gary.
One of the smoothest segues Damon has ever done.
I know, right?
Normally Jeff's the one that attempts the segue and then just throws it.
Fails.
So what we're looking for your feedback. This actually came kind of sideways to us as co-hosts, but we had a discussion and we think it's legitimate. So we're going to do an online survey to ask our entire COL entourage for your feedback based on what you have preferences for that we do as a show. The podcast has been around now for 476 episodes. It's been over 10 years. Yeah, so we've done well over 500 episodes in accumulation, probably close to 600 maybe. And it kind of brought up a good point that we've never really done a breakdown to ask those of you that listen and or watch what your situation is. Like, how do you listen or watch us? A little bit more about our demographic and, you know, what you prefer. So we're going to post through SurveyMonkey a online survey to ask you probably about 10 questions at most. And what we're mostly looking for is a couple of things. The important stuff is, how do you get the podcast? And then what are your preferences? Like we've done a whole bunch of different series over the years, mostly with acronyms. For example, Altino Shade, Let's Talk About King, Let's Talk About Sex, that kind of stuff. And then we have annual episodes that we do. We started last year or the year before with the Valentine's Day and the Daddy's Day stories where Hadrian reads erotica. And of course, we've got Jeff's Power Hour coming up for his birthday. And then within the show, if you're familiar with it, we have these different segments that we do. What's going on, the commercial, the feedback, the actual show topic, Tumblr picks, all that kind of stuff. Over the years, we've modified how we do things. So to go in the Wayback Machine, stealing that from another show, we used to do Craigslist, and that was obviously way back before Craigslist did away with the adult section. But we used to kind of compete as co-host for the strangest, oddest, most outlandish hookup posting. And then we stopped doing that. And I'm trying to think what other things we've modified over the years in terms of the layout. And we got thinking about it based on a suggestion from somebody, which is, how do we know what people enjoy? And we don't have a sophisticated platform to know exactly when people tune in and tune out and all that kind of jazz. So this is one way that we can do that. And we really want to encourage that you help us change the podcast for the better, because you're the reason that we do it. Like, while we enjoy it as co-hosts and discuss stuff that we want to talk about, I know that we had asked, I think back in May, for some ideas on some show topics that we want to get around to. Sometimes it's about alignment of an interview person to bring on, the time of year. So there's stuff I think that we want to talk about in terms of like kind of horror and haunts and stuff like that. And I think it makes sense to kind of save that towards Halloween, different things of that nature. So we'll ask a couple of questions also in the survey about what you enjoy most, what you enjoy least, and then what you have as far as like suggestions or your thoughts on what we could do to make improvement. I think it's going to be really good for us to ask legitimately for you guys to do this stuff so we can get a better maybe grasp on what it is. Well, we have this format where people can give us feedback. I think we've relied for quite a while on, if you have something to say, you'll say it. And we have presumed that it's okay. But I know from my background, especially in hospitality, when you give someone an option, like a comment card, to actually, and you solicit the feedback legitimately, you're likely to get some. Like, you won't get all. But if you don't even have that as an option, you don't put that out there, then you'll never know, if that makes sense. Why do I feel like I'm the only one?
You're here. I'm just realizing that I'm on mute. That's okay.
Oh, I'm like, all right, I know I talk a lot, but dang.
I was like, no, I mean, I agree with you 100%, Gary. I think we've, while we've had, we've gotten feedback from people, as we just, heard and saw, we do not necessarily ask you guys, on a consistent basis to like give us stuff. Yes, we tell you like call us or email us or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But again, you don't all, that's just us asking you kind of thing. This is sort of I think no or less, commitment kind of thing where you don't have to actually send an email or write an email or write a, message or something like that. This is just, a very quick and easy kind of survey that you can fill out, within like 5-10 minutes at the most, I think. And it'll really help us.
Unless you're really wanting to put a lot of words in some of the freeform stuff, and you take about 20 minutes to make a huge paragraph of things of what you do and don't like, which is totally fine.
Yeah,
so.
By all means. Like, what I think we really want is to know what you guys want. We've been doing this for a while, and it'd be great to know if you guys are really liking what we're doing, or you have some thoughts about what we're doing, and maybe we can use that to update the show in a sense. Mm-hmm. Who knows?
And I think the thing that we've been doing for many years, this is a guess, Jeff, you can kind of back me up or disagree. I think we've been kind of cruising blindly, as in we're just out here doing this thing, and we try stuff, and some of it works and some of it doesn't, and the doesn't usually is we figure that out on our own. So like no one very much often, I think people are kind of maybe being polite. No one ever really kind of comments and says, hey, I really don't like this, or I think you really flubbed this, or you know what I mean? Like, and we're trying to be on the front of things when we know stuff doesn't go right, like especially like technical issue stuff, as what happened recently. We're trying to make sure that we're addressing that. And as you can tell, hopefully in this episode, this is, you know, hopefully now we're on the right track with the new Skype link. And it's difficult, and just so we can kind of turn the curtain back a little bit so people are aware, with most of the recent stuff that's changed in the past year plus, we've done some testing, but it's very difficult to do testing without going live. So we can do some internal testing, but it isn't until we're actually producing live out through YouTube like we are at this moment that we really know what it looks and sounds like. So we appreciate your patience while we try to work through that. And so that's why we redid, for example, the WBW topic coverage with Adam. And he was very gracious to do it with us the second time, and then we were able to put that out there, and that kind of stuff. So yeah.
And I think every little bit helps, and everything that we get, will, hopefully make the show bigger. I mean, better, in a sense,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for all intents purposes, the reason why this show started was because I just wanted to do a podcast. That's it. I just wanted to do something. So I got a couple of friends together, and we were like, okay, let's do kind of like this weekly show thing and do what we want. And it's grown since then. I mean, I'm still weekly talking to my friends, doing a show with my friends. But we're doing more, and we want to help this show grow. And in addition to the way to our Patreon and our merch store, another way to essentially support us is to give us our feedback. And this survey is a great way of doing it without necessarily having to have your email, make a phone call and talk or something like that. And you've got free fields, and everything is anonymous. We're just going to... You heard it here first. All of this is Jeff's fault. Yes, it is my fault.
It is not always all Jeff's fault. While he may be the first to fall on the sword, that does not necessarily mean that he's always the one that trips up or whatever.
Well, when you're doing a new thing, and then you should have added new things. You probably should have looked at all your sources to realize that you probably should mute a couple of these things. It's like, it's fine. All I need to do is mute these. Very simple fix to a problem, which I didn't realize I had because I didn't look when I really should have.
Well, all right. So here's the thing I'll say about that. This is one of the things that I know, like, people enjoy shows, be they video or audio only, or they have a hybrid or both like we do. We don't have a take two. We don't have a professional production staff. We're not in the YouTube studios in New York or LA. We don't have a production company that creates this stuff. It's not really scripted. It's rarely scripted for us. And one of the things, I will own this is another like kind of behind the curtain thing. I've learned in the years of doing this podcast with all of you guys as co-hosts, even with our guests, I guess have more of a mind towards improv, that I can off the cuff, off the fly, just talk about damn near anything in any way, shape, or form. It has taken until recently, where we've had our own private discussions between us as co-hosts, and that to realize that not everyone's like me that way, and that you guys have given some great feedback internally to say, I'd like to read up on this topic, or know better as an outline which direction we're going to go, how we're going to handle things, so that way you feel comfortable with what we're going to do. And it took us having that kind of open communication, and that's why this feedback, I think, from the entourage, from our audience, is important, so we understand what's happening as we keep basically moving the goalpost a little bit at a time to be better and better, and not have people turn away, but get more people to tune in, I guess, is the ultimate goal in that case. Sorry, I'm noticing in the live chat. Okay, I did not say that Jeff was going to fall on the sword as a euphemism, but obviously everyone's all perved up big time today. In this case,
Here's some of the things you miss. Well, when you don't watch the show live and get into the chat, just say it.
So one of the things that's coming up that we know we've got to do is we have a patrons live show that's coming up. We're basically doing those every other month. For those of you that are not patrons, so you're aware, the folks that support us on a Patreon for as little as $1 a month, which could be as little as like 25 cents an episode, basically. We're going to do a show every other month where we're going to have just a kind of a private Q&A discussion or game show or something of that sort. If you're at a certain level within Patreon, you actually get to be a guest on a show, which is another great way to be involved with us and give us feedback on how we're doing. Obviously, you're very supportive if you're at that level, but you get to put your face and your voice in the midst of us as well. So I'm kind of excited about that in that case. Just so everyone's aware, there's some topics that we're kind of looking at for the future. I already put down the idea of discreets as kind of an LTAS. I'm going to put /DL because I think that's relevant. We were approached about the idea of incels, which I find
I'm still confused on.
I'm
not quite understanding what this is.
So
I think this would be a good thing to talk about for the show, but I'm just saying that I'm going to be like, you tried to explain it and it didn't work for me.
Well, there's a political aspect to it. I'll send you guys the link to the article that kind of brought this about. For me personally, I don't really want to get into that aspect of it. But what I find interesting is that incel stands for involuntary celibacy. And I think celibacy and involuntary celibacy are very interesting as far as like the gay male community goes. And I don't know if it's something that people have really thought about or are aware of. And I thought like that might be an interesting point. And actually one of our own entourage brought that subject to us. And I thought that would be good.
Cool. To
maybe have them on because they kind of mentioned it. Dr. Cisco wants to come back. Yay! So he's been doing work on addiction study stuff, and there's a recent, well, not recent, but as of this year, there was a new study that talked about cheating on your partner, specifically within the gay male community. That I asked him if he would be interested in coming on to discuss, and he said yes. So we've kind of got him lined up for in September or October, I think it is. So yeah, there's some of that stuff. I'm looking through the. Go ahead, Damon.
I'm just gonna say, I was gonna. Jeff responded, but like he was asking, Tubbs was asking if we were not going to do an open hangout for all the patrons at the end of the month, and it was like, yes, we are. Don't
the
there
patrons,
will be some.
The patrons will be invited to the Power Hour, but we decided that's going to be like just like a regular show. But is it next month that we're doing the actual bi-monthly hangout?
Actually, we're supposed to do it this month. So
okay.
That'd
be a separate one.
Yeah. So not to confuse everybody, but basically there's two patron-related shows coming up. One will be for patrons only, meaning only the patrons will be aware of it and be able to see it and participate in it. And then the Power Hour to celebrate Jeff's birthday.
38th. I'm fine saying it's my 38th birthday.
Okay. That one, everyone could watch it, but the folks that are aware to join it, that'll be a Google Hangout, and that'll be made aware to the patrons if they want to join in. So, yeah, that's coming up like in the next week, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah, either Yeah, we've got this week or the next week to actually do it.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. And we'll let you know. Trust and believe. We'll let you know.
Just keep watch on the Patreon.
I find this interesting. There was a suggestion about a COL calendar, which I think
public
is
calendar.
Yeah, we just so everybody knows. I'm like, we already got one, but that's just for us as co-hosts. Like, one of the ways that we organize this show is to know when people are available. So, for example, if one of us is going to be traveling or not available at certain times, then we typically post that on there. So as we're administratively planning future topics and invites and all that kind of stuff, we're like, this weekend. So this is just an example. Damon has stuff with the chorus, or traveling for something, vacation or whatever. So we try to balance that stuff.
Yeah, I think what Chuck is talking about is like making a public calendar that we can, when we have a show scheduled, we can post it on there and people can view it. And we might be able to embed it on the website. So I need to figure that out, but still.
Something to think about.
Yeah, no, and this is the type of stuff that I think can help us overall if it helps you as well. Like,
help me help you. Help me help you.
And we are aware, that consistency is incredibly helpful as well, as far as like the time that we produce and that kind of stuff. Our lives are very fluid and they change often, so I think that's one of the challenges of us adjusting and putting that stuff. Sorry. A calendar with pics. I'm not sure if you could integrate Tumblr and Google Calendars. Anyways,
let's see. Create your own.
Anywho, so
anything else from the two of you before we move on, or are we?
I think we're good.
Okay.
I think I could be wrong though.
Okay. Sorry, I got distracted. I was starting to see about calendars and Zazzle. Anyways, so I'm guessing it is time for this. It's been a while. Apparently for Baremosexual, it's been a while.
Hello.
Yeah. I'm like, welcome back.
How long?
Where have you been?
What has been a while, and why haven't you been back for a while? I guess I've missed you.
Wow.
Yeah, he's
big
just standing
belly,
there.
bearded, tatted.
He's working on taking off his jockstrap.
I'm very intrigued by one of his tattoos on his arm. He's a very handsome man, but there's one tattoo that really is big and kind of caught my attention. But then there's one near his elbow that actually looks a lot like a design that was used in the now no longer running Once Upon a Time fantasy series on ABC. If you watched it all the way through the last season, where they kind of not restart, where they diverged the storylines about witches, that design looks very familiar. So anyways, which I know is based on something in reality, but what is going on?
I have a very fun husband who is under the table trying to be funny.
Yay, Jim! Fortunately, that's not allowed on camera, but
yeah. Be right back.
Damon, it's your turn.
I was just gonna say, but he.
Damon, it's your turn.
I know it's my turn. Anywho,
That's not the type of turn I was talking about. Anyways.
I know.
So mine is called Dinner is Served. And it's a nice piece of meat.
My goodness.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a lot of man.
Mm-hmm.
I like sausage.
And then
Rice
someone actually posted that was his actual husband, and it's very sweet. I love that it's like, oh cool, like this is my actual husband, so sweet. Congratulations.
Yeah, he's bald, big, bushy, bearded, pierced lips, thick thighs,
button,
thick,
button,
thick,
button,
everything.
button.
Yes. He's a sexy bearish guy that is hitting all the right buttons for me.
Yeah.
And apparently there are calendars.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
Moving on.
Here.
I call mine Skeleton Crew Woof. So as a recognition shout out to the video series Skeleton Crew, Rye My Bear on Tumblr has this beautiful picture, which I'm guessing is from the new upcoming season, where he looks like he's naked in bed. Notably, one of his nipples is pierced with a ring. I'm going to own it. I have a hard-on for this man. I think he is so gorgeous. And if I met him in person, I'd probably get like all stupid, like, derpy. But yeah. So I wanted to give him some recognition. It's an interesting shot. I think it's actually from the show just because of the lighting.
Yeah.
It's very much like a production still kind of quality. There's a light on in the background, and there's some natural light. It looks like coming from a window or something. But and it has the Skeleton Crew logo on it as a nice little stamp. So
yes, very, very, very nice.
Jeff's like scrolling through the entire account.
Yep. That's the thing. I can't do anything behind these people's back because they're actually seeing my screen. So, anyways.
Chuck, he's awesome looking, but I have a problem with that picture of the lampshade, though. Come on.
Oh.
Pay attention to him. Anyways.
That's the guy who constantly looks at the background.
Moving on into the links. Hey, guess what? Last week I gave you Honey Heist 1. This week I'm giving you Honey Heist 2, the Electric Bear Glue. So.
Oh my god.
Critical
Did
Role.
they really call it Electric Bear Glue?
Yes, they did. Here, there's a preview. One of the NPC characters' names is Vinny the Pooh. It's great. So, if you like role-playing games and want to see how a relatively simple game, Honey Heist, is played, check out Honey Heist 2 Electric Bear Glue on the Critical Role YouTube channel.
Nice.
Gary?
So my pick is actually for a very popular YouTube series, a specific episode on YouTube called The Try Guys. If you're not familiar with it, it's 4 guys that are friends that haven't always known each other. I think they kind of came together and ended up creating this online kind of video cast thing. And I've seen them on like as kind of co-stars or guests on other things, but this one is from last month on July 21st. It's called The Try Guys Crash Test a New Roller Coaster. And so they went to Knott's Berry Farms in California, and they ended up riding a brand new roller coaster. And it's really funny to watch it. It's only about 14 minutes long, and the goal is for them to ride it 10 times in a row.
Oh god.
Oh geez.
And it's a brand new roller coaster that does like a vertical lift. So it's like 90 degrees straight up. So you're really on your back. And then it tips over, and then it stops to freak you out. And then it continues and it inverts slightly and it's a 96-degree drop. So
Nope.
it's more than vertical coming down.
Nope.
That's the very first thing that happens, and then there's all these inversions and stuff. But anyways, these guys are really funny. I just thought it hysterical. So
I'll be able to, I'll watch it, but I won't. That'll be about it.
Because we
So if
won't
you're a
be able
coaster-
to even fit on the roller coaster because
yeah,
Yeah.
well, there's that too. Notably, all
bars.
4 of them are like, West Coast Hollywood kind of skinny in their build, which is one of the things I noticed the first time they got on. I was like, I don't know if any fat boys are actually going to be able to fit on this thing. But anyways, it's
if anything, Chester and I would both definitely love to have actually tried this because I believe Chester is super loves roller coasters.
I would be willing to try it now that I've seen it, especially because I watched this video and watched them attempt to do it 10 times. Also, interestingly, for this, they actually give you little baggies just in case you're going to get sick. They actually do some discussions and talks with the creator and some of the staff and this kind of stuff. It looks very interesting anyway. So
Cool.
if you're into coasters and that kind of thing, you might like it.
Oh,
So yeah.
Nice. Hey,
yeah. You guys go right on ahead and do that. I'll be on the ground.
you're not a
Watching.
roller coaster fan, are you?
I am not. It takes a lot, and it depends on the roller coaster. So,
If it's one
Damon,
of your classic, just up, down, that's fine, right?
kind of, yeah.
But when it comes to like the inversions and the loop-de-loops and that stuff, that's when you...
That. Yeah.
Okay.
Gary, you were saying?
Well, I was just going to be a smartass and say Damon likes rides, just different kind.
Anyways, hey, guess what, folks? That's the end. Aw. Play ways to contact us. Watch our website, cubstoutloud.com, for our survey that we will be posting up there. We will also post it on the Patreon as well. And we'll just keep that as an open one, not just patrons, but anyone will be able to see it on our Patreon site as well. Website is cubstoutloud.com. Email us at cubsoutloud@gmail.com if you have more specific things or anything. You can leave us a voicemail, sexy or otherwise, at 361-COL-TALK. That's 361-265-8255. You can follow us on all of our social media platforms at Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, Google+, and YouTube at Cubs Out Loud in the appropriate place of the URL. Join the Cubs Out Loud Entourage chat on Telegram at tinyurl.com/telegram-COL. Don't forget our merch store at zazzle.com/CubsOutLoud, or as what I mentioned before, subscribe to us on Patreon at patreon.com/CubsOutLoud. You can rate us on iTunes, subscribe to us at Google Play Podcasts. You can give us a thumbs up on Stitcher Radio, but they're not a great platform, really.
Oh,
It's there, but still.
We use
Anyways,
it.
you can find me anywhere on the internet. Actually, I don't. I just post it and it just does what they do. They'll just like download our shows and they'll convert the format into something that's crappy and add some ads, but that's fine. You can find me anywhere on the internet. It's Box Set Box, Puppy Box, Scub Box, something or other.
I am Theater Cup 79 on Tumblr, Bear401, blah blah blah, other sites. Or you can find me as pup_Umbra on Twitter.
You can pretty much find me anywhere online as Garbear73. That's GARBEAR73.
And with that, where is it? There it is. Say good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Have a good one, y'all.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
that
So does
wow.
Damon? Do you need to run away because you're about to be mauled by your man?
No, 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 no.
Because we would completely understand that you would not want to miss out on an opportunity. But like, the mood strikes, and
when the moment strikes, make sure you have.
because that's some shenanigans that seems like I would probably do if I had a partner that was doing a podcast. I'd be like, no, just keep
doing your do it. Ignore the bumping on the table.
you do your thing while I do you. We'll see how this
I would never be able to do. It would be so hard.
You,
I mean,
you
not
know,
so
you
hard,
know
but-
how David, you know how Damon is in multitasking. He's terrible at multitasking.
Oh
No, you are not wrong. I am just saying. I'm going to be.
His
I will be
attention would
honest.
be focused down to his penis. which is
It would be
taken
one or the
care
other.
of.
And I'm sorry, but penis wins.
So in this celibacy, it has.
There would be no conversation. I will say that, and more than likely, it'd be like, I'm gonna go and see you guys later.
we get a peace out. We don't even get like I'm gonna be on mute and you're just gonna watch my face and like try to figure out what the hell's happening off cam.
Eye rollers and no. It would have to, like I said, it would be one or the other, and I don't know.
Man, your podcast.
Yeah.
Your man, your podcast.
I don't know which one's gonna win out.
The patrons that get to listen to the post show are gonna be
Have a great idea like that would. But again, I wouldn't. Also, I probably wouldn't do that to you guys. Like, I would not like be distracted while in the midst of a podcast. I mean,
Like,
let me
quit
just
it.
say,
You're just like mute. Quit it. Later.
Told you. Like I appreciate that. Like I appreciate the sentiment and I appreciate the enjoyment. But right now, kind of in the middle of something. So,
well, it's good to know that you at least have a sense of priority about, like penis has a really high ranking and it's technically higher than the podcast. But if we are in the midst of doing the show, that you will.
Yeah. I'm going to be a little late would be something that could potentially be said. Like,
I will say this. I don't think I've ever had that affect the show. And in the years of doing it, I think I've slept in. I've definitely done that. And I think I've been tired, may have been hungover, but I don't think I've ever had, a man
like
Sorry, I'm late. I was
I was-
just getting a
yeah.
blowjob or getting fucked or something. Anyways, I'm gonna stop streaming.